When my son spent his first days in the NICU, I sent one plea to the family chat. Please visit. My mom replied, we're busy, it's not a good time. Hours later, she posted dinner party photos. A month later, still sleeping in a plastic chair beside my baby, my phone buzzed with 911 missed calls from sister. It's urgent. Call back. Without thinking twice, I didn't want to be strong anymore. Not after the contractions hit early and hard in the middle of a regular Tuesday. Not when I was rushed into an operating room with blinding lights and masked faces. Not when I woke up hours later and was told my son was in critical condition. I didn't want to be the woman who always handled everything, who smiled through chaos, who figured things out while everyone else leaned on her. I just wanted someone to lean on. The NICU isn't a place anyone imagines when they think of birth. It's all machines, quiet alarms, and too many wires. No balloons, no celebration, no photos sent to group chats. Just silence, tension, and the constant fear that the next hour might bring something worse than the last. My son was barely 4 pounds, a tiny, perfect thing inside a glass box. I wasn't even allowed to hold him at first. I just sat there with my hand inside a small opening, touching his foot while pretending I wasn't falling apart. That first night I didn't cry. I didn't sleep. I watched his chest rise and fall and listened to the soft rhythm of the monitor beeping, afraid it might stop. Around dawn, I picked up my phone and opened our family group chat. The same chat where my mom sent memes and my sister dropped updates about her dating life. I didn't try to sound strong. I wrote exactly what I felt. Please come. I need you. Just visit. That was it. No emojis. No explanation. I thought it would be enough. My mom read the message almost instantly. I saw the little read checkmark, then nothing. I told myself she was probably calling my dad, figuring out how to get here. Maybe she was already on the way. An hour later, her reply came in. We're busy, now's not a good time. I stared at it. Read it 3 times. Then 2 hours after that, she posted a photo. Her and my dad at some trendy-looking restaurant, full glasses of wine, smiling like nothing existed outside of that frame. The caption said something about a well-deserved date night. There was nothing about my son. Nothing about me. I didn't reply. Neither did anyone else. My sister Amy didn't even react to the message. No thumbs up, no sad face, nothing. She always had an excuse, her job, her boyfriend, her anxiety. And I always gave her space. I thought maybe this time would be different. Maybe she'd surprise me. But the silence just grew louder. Chris tried. In his way. He brought snacks, rubbed my shoulders, asked how I was. But I could tell he didn't know how to carry any of it. He stayed for a bit, then left. Every night. And I stayed. My grandparents came. Not because I asked, they just showed up. They didn't try to cheer me up or say things like, it'll be okay. They brought thermoses of soup and sat beside me, holding space in a way no one else had. When I fell asleep in the chair, my grandma covered me with a blanket from her car. When I couldn't talk, they just stayed quiet with me. They didn't need instructions. They just loved. The days turned into weeks. I stopped expecting anything from my family. The only thing I kept doing was showing up for my son. Reading him stories through the plastic. Singing quietly even though I wasn't sure if he could hear. Nurses started calling me the strong one. I wanted to tell them how wrong they were. And then 32 days in, at 3:11 a.m., my phone buzzed so hard it fell off the plastic tray beside me. The screen was lit up with notifications, missed calls stacked on top of each other, all from Amy. 91 of them. And one message. Urgent. Call back. I didn't hesitate. I pressed call. I had no idea that whatever was coming would change everything. Not just with her but with everyone. Amy answered immediately. No hello, no breath. She jumped in like she'd been waiting hours for me to call back. She said mom had collapsed at home. Seizure, maybe a stroke. No one was sure yet. The ambulance had just left. Dad was falling apart. She was crying, panicked, asking how fast I could get to the ER. She said she didn't know how to handle it alone. That I needed to be there. I didn't speak right away. My son was finally asleep on my chest for the first time. No tubes, no machines, just his warm little body breathing in and out. I looked down at him, his skin soft and pink against the hospital gown they gave me for kangaroo care. I wanted to be present in that moment, not on the phone being dragged back into a place I'd barely survived getting out of. I told Amy I couldn't leave the hospital. She went quiet, then asked if I could come later, maybe tomorrow. I told her again no, I couldn't. There was a pause. I waited for her to acknowledge what I'd been through. Just something, anything, that sounded like understanding. Instead she said, so you're just not going to help? Mom could be dying. That hit differently. I didn't yell. I didn't explain. I just said, I hope she's okay. And I hung up. I didn't cry. I didn't even feel guilty. There was a kind of silence in my chest that felt almost like peace. I wasn't angry. I was done. In the next 2 days my phone kept lighting up. Calls, texts, voice notes. Updates from Amy. Mom was stable, they were doing tests, Dad was a mess, the hospital food was awful. Could I at least talk to him? Could I call her back? Could I be there? Every single message had the same theme. We need you now. We're overwhelmed. Come fix it. No one asked how my son was doing. No one asked how I was holding up after a month of living in a chair. No one mentioned the message I sent asking for help. No one said sorry. Then she sent it, the text that made everything inside me go cold. I know things have been tense, but we have to come together now. We're still a family. Tense, that's what she called it. I thought of the night I sent the message from the NICU asking them to come. How Mom replied, "Tow's not a good time," before posting dinner party photos. How Amy hadn't even responded. And now suddenly we were a family again. Because they needed me. That was the moment something clicked. I didn't reply. I didn't even open the messages after that. Instead, I asked the nurse how soon we could be discharged. My son had made it through the hardest part. I wanted to take him home. Not to my old life. Not to the version of me they used to rely on, but to something entirely new. One they'd no longer have access to. I started thinking about everything I'd done for them over the years. Covering Amy's credit card debt. Helping Mom and Dad refinance their mortgage when they were about to lose the house. Babysitting Amy's kids when she wanted a weekend to herself. Driving 2 hours to take my mom to appointments when she didn't want to go alone. I remembered every time they said, "You're the strong one," while quietly draining every ounce of strength I had. It was time they learned what it looked like when I stopped showing up. The next day I deleted the group chat. I didn't announce it. Just hit leave group and turned my phone face down. That night I told my grandparents everything. Every single thing that had happened, not just in the last month but over years. The pattern, the guilt, the exhaustion. They listened. Then my grandpa nodded once and said, "You're not wrong, Hannah. Not for any of it." My grandmother added, "They made their choices. Now you get to make yours." And I did. But what came next they never saw coming. Not Amy. Not my parents. Not even Chris. Because this time I wasn't just walking away. I was taking everything they thought they still had control over with me. Leaving the hospital felt surreal. My son, bundled in a soft blue blanket, was asleep in the carrier beside me. We walked out of the NICU, past the nurses who had become my only real lifeline, through the corridors that had held every emotion I'd buried for the past 5 weeks. I didn't look back. We went straight home. No stops. No announcements. No group chats. The silence from my family was strange at first, like waiting for a storm that never came. Amy didn't call again. Neither did my parents. I saw that they'd added each other back into some version of the group chat. I hadn't been reinvited. It was fine. I had a newborn and a pile of medical bills and an apartment that felt unfamiliar after living at the hospital for so long. I had bigger things to do than chase after people who only knew how to take. Chris tried to talk to me about it once. Said something about how they were still my family. I didn't argue. I just asked him what he thought they were to me when I was begging for help and nobody showed. He didn't have an answer. A week after we got home, the first of the automatic payments hit my account. The ones I'd been covering for years without being asked. Amy's car loan. My parents' utilities. One by one I started shutting them off. No warning. Just canceled the transfers. 2 days later Amy texted me. "Hey, I think there's an issue with the bank. My payment didn't go through?" I didn't reply. A few hours later another message. "Did you cancel the transfer? I'm gonna get hit with late fees, Hannah." I thought we were going to talk about this. Talk about what? I had sent one message from the NICU. Asking them to come. They didn't even bother to pretend they cared. I deleted her message and blocked the number. The next day I got a voicemail from my dad. I hadn't heard his voice in weeks. He didn't say anything about my son. Didn't ask how we were. Just launched into a long-winded explanation about how hard things had been since Mom got home from the hospital. How money was tight, how he knew I'd been through some stuff. But family had to stick together. I blocked him too. Chris watched all of this unfold with a kind of quiet confusion. He didn't get it, not fully. But he stopped asking questions. I think he saw something in me that scared him a little. I wasn't emotional. I wasn't angry. I was done. And he knew it. Then something happened that shifted everything into sharper focus. My grandparents invited me to dinner. They'd seen the silence. The distance. They never asked me to explain it. But that night after dinner my grandfather handed me a stack of documents. He'd been revising their will. Quietly without telling anyone. He said, "We've seen who's there for you and who isn't. We're not leaving anything to people who've treated our granddaughter like a stranger." It took me a moment to realize what he meant. They weren't just cutting my parents and Amy out of any future inheritance. They were transferring assets into my name now. Real estate, savings, trust accounts. Everything they'd once promised to divide. My grandmother looked at me and said, "We won't be around forever, Hannah. And we want to make sure the people who deserve your love don't end up using you." They saw it. They always had. And now, the people who thought they could keep pulling from me forever were about to learn what it felt like to have the ground pulled from under them. The first reaction came from Amy, and it wasn't what I expected. One morning I got a package. No return address. Just my name, handwritten, the ink a little smudged. Inside was a half-page note and a framed photo of the four of us. Mom, Dad, Amy, and me, from years ago at some lake vacation I barely remembered. The note said, "I don't know what happened to you, but I hope you figure it out soon. None of this is normal." That was it. No apology. No mention of my son. No recognition of what she had or hadn't done. Just a passive-aggressive attempt to frame me as the problem. I didn't reply, but it rattled something. Not guilt, just clarity. They didn't see me as a person. I was a service, a system. And now that the system had shut down, they didn't know how to act. What they also didn't know was that I wasn't just cutting off financial support. I was cutting every thread they thought they could pull, including the ones they had no idea I even held. A week later, I met with my grandparents' lawyer to finalize the asset transfers. That same day, something strange happened. Chris didn't come home. I waited. I texted. Called once. Nothing. Around midnight, he messaged saying he was staying at a friend's, that he needed space. I asked if something was wrong. No response. By morning, I figured it out. My parents had reached out to him. I don't know how, maybe through his sister, maybe directly. But they had. And instead of ignoring it, he listened. He came back 2 days later acting weirdly calm, like nothing had happened. Sat on the couch, said he thought we should talk. "I know this is going to upset you," he started, "but I think you're being a little extreme. They're still your family." I just stared at him. He continued, said he talked to my mom. She was ashamed, apparently. Didn't know how to fix things. He said Amy felt attacked. That they were just trying to reconnect. That's when I realized they had gotten to him because they couldn't get to me. Chris said he wanted us to think about our son. About growing up without grandparents, without cousins, without the family he deserved. He said forgiveness was strength. That maybe I'd taken things too far. I didn't argue. I didn't cry. I just asked one question. Did they ever ask how our son is? He blinked, thought, then said slowly, "No." But that was enough. Later that night, when he went to shower, I opened the shared bank account and removed access. I moved what was mine. He still had his own accounts. I didn't take from him. But I wasn't going to wait for the manipulation to grow roots. Chris wasn't cruel, just weak. And weak people make dangerous allies when you're trying to protect something precious. 2 days later, he left again. This time I didn't ask where he was going. But something even more unexpected happened the following weekend. I got a call from an unknown number. I let it ring out. Then it rang again. And again. I picked up, ready to hang up. But the voice on the other end stopped me. It was a woman I didn't recognize. Her name was Leah. She said she used to work for my father. And then after a pause she said, "I think you should know something. He's been telling people he's suing you." At first I thought it was a bluff. My dad threatening to sue me? For what? Emotional distance. But Leah, the woman who used to work for him, told me more. "He's telling people you manipulated your grandparents," she said. "That you turned them against him. That they were coerced into changing the will." I didn't even know whether to laugh or feel insulted. My grandfather had been managing their estate since before I was born. No one coerced him. And even if I wanted to, there was no version of reality where I could tell that man what to do with his money. I thanked Leah for the heads up. She said she'd quit 6 months earlier because she couldn't handle how manipulative he was becoming. We hung up and I sat with it for a moment. Not hurt, not scared, just tired. Then I made 2 decisions. First, I called my grandfather and told him everything. Second, I cut the final thread. Up until that point, there was still one quiet way I'd been helping my parents. A private loan I'd co-signed 3 years earlier to help keep their business afloat. A low-interest, flexible term loan that they'd never fully repaid. I had the power to restructure or freeze it, but I hadn't. Out of guilt. Out of some old, broken sense of obligation. That same day, I contacted the bank and formally pulled my name from all co-signing obligations. They would now be fully responsible for repayment. Every month. No safety net. I also notified the loan officer about the situation and submitted documentation showing misrepresentation on their part. It triggered a reevaluation. Within 2 weeks, the business account was frozen for review. And everything changed. Amy called again from a different number. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail, crying, not subtle crying but panicked, breathless sobs, saying I was tearing the family apart. That mom had broken down after hearing from the bank. That dad was devastated and felt betrayed. Then she said something that sealed it all. "If you do this, we'll have nothing. Are you really okay with that?" I deleted the voicemail. 3 days later, I got an email from their lawyer. It was short. 1 line. "This matter is considered closed. No further action will be taken." I guess once they saw the will held up, once they realized the inheritance was gone, the loan protection's gone, the business unraveling, they knew. They had no case. No leverage. Nothing. They didn't want me. They just wanted what I gave. Chris tried to come back once. Said he'd made a mistake, that he didn't know how bad it had gotten, that he wanted to be there for me and our son. But when I told him the new terms, full commitment, no contact with my family behind my back, full transparency, he hesitated. I told him to take that hesitation and pack it with the rest of his things. My son was learning to smile by then. He had no idea how close he came to being raised in a cycle of quiet emotional warfare. He just knew that he was loved, that he was safe, that his mother, tired or not, chose him first. My grandparents and I met one night in their garden. Quiet, simple, no drama. We talked about peace. About how loud silence can be when you finally step away from people who only pretend to love you when it's convenient. My family didn't just lose money. They lost the person who made their lives work. And this time they couldn't get her back. I always thought peace would feel like a dramatic moment. A triumphant breakthrough, maybe a perfect sunset or a final word shouted across a room. But that's not how it happened. Came slowly, quietly, looked a lot like routine, sounded like breathing. It felt like waking up next to my son, his little hand resting on my collarbone, his breath warm and steady. There were no machines this time, no wires. Just a crib beside my bed and the kind of silence that doesn't feel empty. The kind that means nothing is about to fall apart. That's peace. But it came at a cost. And I paid every cent of it without regret. When I ignored my mother's letter, she tried again. This time through a mutual acquaintance, someone I barely spoke to from church. She told her to tell me Mom wasn't doing well. That they were worried about me. That the family felt pushed out and disrespected. I didn't respond. The last time I'd asked for them, I was sleeping in a plastic chair while my son clung to life. That door had closed for good. Amy went quiet too. I knew why. Without me, she'd lost the safety net. The loan I co-signed had shifted into full collection mode. It hit her credit hard. She'd spent years building her life on the assumption that no matter what she did, I'd still be there when the consequences came. He was learning now. As for my dad, after the lawyer dropped the case, I thought I'd hear from him. A call, a letter, something to reassert control. Instead, I heard from the bank. His business had officially defaulted on the loan. He tried blaming me, claiming I'd sabotaged him. But paperwork doesn't lie. Signatures don't disappear. Their world started cracking without me in it. But mine started to rebuild. I finally got clarity on my own finances. Organized, clean, unburdened by secret transfers and quiet guilt. I moved into a slightly bigger apartment with better light and a second bedroom I turned into a nursery. It's not fancy, but it's mine. Every lamp, every photo frame, every blanket was chosen because I liked it. Not because it was a hand-me-down. Not because it was free. Not because someone else told me I needed it. My grandparents helped where they could, not with money but time, love, stability. They never once pressured me to reconcile. In fact, my grandfather told me something one night that stuck with me. He said, sometimes cutting someone off isn't an act of anger. It's an act of self-respect. I think about that a lot. Chris has moved out for good. The separation was clean, unemotional. He didn't fight me on anything. I think he knew he'd never really been in the fight to begin with. We didn't hate each other. We just ended. Some endings are like that. Slow burns that leave no fire behind. Now it's just me and my son. And I'm not scared. We wake up early. He smiles when he sees me. I read to him from books I picked out one by one. He's growing fast, curious, strong, already trying to pull himself up when I lay him on my lap. There's still a long road ahead. Single motherhood isn't easy. But every decision I make now, I make without fear of someone else's disappointment. I'm raising him to know love that isn't transactional. Support that doesn't come with strings. Family that means presence, not pressure. There are a few things I haven't shared yet. Details about something else that happened recently. Something small but unexpected. Something I'm still thinking about quietly. I'm not ready to write about it now. Maybe I'll update later. But for now, I'll leave you with this. Okay. No, I'm more than okay. I'm free for the first time in my adult life. Not because someone gave me permission, but because I stopped asking for it. And I've never been more sure of what I deserve. My update. I wasn't planning on writing again. I honestly thought the last part would be it. The final chapter, the closed book. Life had become simple in the best way. No drama, no chaos, no one draining me dry. Just quiet mornings, soft baby laughter, and a steady rhythm I hadn't known I was capable of creating. But sometimes, peace brings with it strange echoes. It started with a small envelope. No return address, but my name was written carefully. Not messy, not rushed. Whoever sent it knew me well enough to spell my name right. A detail that caught my attention more than it should have. Inside was a single photograph. It was me and my son sitting on the edge of a low brick wall near the pond at the park. He was leaning into me, both of us watching the water where ducks had gathered. I was holding a half-eaten apple. He had his sock half off as usual. It wasn't posed. It wasn't flattering. But it was real. On the back of the photo in small handwriting were 4 words. You finally look free. No signature. No date. For a moment I felt that old flutter. That sense of being watched, of my boundaries being quietly tested. But then I looked at the photo again. And I felt something else. Whoever sent it wasn't trying to invade my life. They were acknowledging it. I don't know if it was Amy. Or maybe someone from my past who used to be closer than they should have been. It doesn't matter. What matters is that even from a distance someone could see the difference. And there is a difference. My life isn't perfect, not by any stretch. There are still hard days, especially as a single mom. Nights when I lie awake budgeting down to the last cent. Mornings when I carry my son through daycare drop-off while running on 3 hours of sleep. But it's mine. All of it. There's no pretending anymore. No bending myself into someone else's version of family. No guilt for saying no. No bitterness when the phone doesn't ring. I've learned how to build a life around the people who show up, not the ones who only remember me when they need something. My grandparents are still my steady place. My son is growing fast, faster than I'm ready for. He started saying words now, just little ones. One of the first was, home. I think that says everything. And to those of you who followed this, who read every part, who messaged, who rooted for me even in silence, thank you. Truly. More than I can say. I never expected this story to resonate the way it did. I never thought strangers would care about a tired woman in a plastic hospital chair whispering to a baby in an incubator. But you did. And it mattered. That kind of support. I didn't grow up with it. But I found it here. I don't know if I'll post again. Maybe one day when something shifts or when I have more to share. But for now I'm okay closing the page here. Not because the story is over. But because finally I'm living the part one never thought I'd reach. The quiet, honest, free part. Thank you for walking with me.